I'm Brad Lubben, an Extension Assistant Professor and Policy Specialist in the Department of Agricultural Economics at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. When I study policy issues on a daily basis, I'm helping put numbers to real-world decisions that producers make to help provide the food that feeds the world. I'm an agricultural economist that focuses on policy. And when I look at policy issues, I try and study what impacts agriculture in Nebraska and across the globe. Those agricultural policy issues are broad and expansive and complex and challenging. Historically, we thought policy was about what happened on Capitol Hill and farm bills and farm programs. And yes, that's an important part of it, but a smaller and smaller part of it. Policy issues that affect agriculture are happening across the spectrum. We worry and think about and study what's happening in the regulatory arena. We worry and think about what's happening in the judicial arena. And increasingly, we look at policy issues and we don't even look to government. We look to the social arena, the social media, and the movements, the interest groups, the political pressure, the corporate pressure. What's happening there that affects how the beef industry and how agriculture responds? Well, that's what I study. And if you look at the opportunities for agriculture and you look at the things where the university, for example, can contribute, we have this growing agenda and growing recognition that we have to feed a growing world. Growing population, growing prosperity translates into a doubling of food demand in the next 40 years. How does agriculture serve that demand if we're dealing with policy challenges and constraints at the whole time? Productivity has always been the solution, but what do we do for the future? How do we ensure the investments in productivity? How do we ensure that the policy framework allows us to successfully do those things? Now, at the same time that we're feeding the world, we're also dealing with consumer and public demands for other attributes. Can you serve my local food demand as well? Can you give me exactly what I want at the same time that you're also producing commodities to feed the world? Can you give me the energy that I want in the bioenergy sector that competes with the production sector for resources, but also serves a rather big demand for energy in the country? Can you give me environmental protection, environmental goods and services, as we call it, environmental stewardship? How do I do that with resources at the same time that I'm being asked to use those resources to serve more and more demands of society? That's the challenge for agriculture. That's what we research and study and teach on here at the university.